Kids.
I watched Moonlight, like I told you, this week.
I haven't seen that yet.
Well, did it get Movie of the Year? I thought it did. I thought it got a pretty decent award. I'm not sure if it was for producing or directing or writing or whatever, but Moonlight, I need to look up information on it, but I watched it recently. It's about an African American kid in Miami, in the really rough part of Miami, Liberty City section of Miami, and he was bullied a lot. He was just a little different than the average kid, and he was bullied a lot, and it just shows how he grew up and things were pretty negative for him. His mom was a drug addict and everything, and it shows how he developed and grew older, and things actually ended up decent for him at the end. But it was a really decent story. I would say it surprised me. It had some homosexual undertones to it, but it was an interesting movie. I enjoyed it.
Well, Google listed as a look at 3 defining chapters of the life of Sharon, a young black growing up in Miami. His epic journey to manhood is guided by the kindness, support, and love of the community that helps raise men. And the lead character there is Maharashal Ali. And he has been in several different shows. He's even in House of Cards, Luke Cage, which is a Marvel show, and even The Hunger Games and Free State of Jones with Matthew McConaughey. So he is definitely
he was really
his
good.
way up.
I thought he might have been on Beast of Nations. Remember that show on Netflix?
Netflix original.
I thought he was on that, but I could be wrong. But he looked very familiar, and he did a great job. And I thought it was a good movie. It was interesting. It was a lot different than I'm used to. Another Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I watched that this year. I thought it was pretty decent. I liked it. I haven't seen a lot of movies this year.
Volume 2.
I haven't seen a lot of movies this year.
Not as good as the first one. And it's hard to recreate and create a new storyline at the same time. But Chris Pratt definitely delivers. Zoe Saldana, and I don't care. She looks good in green. And Michael Rooker, who plays kind of like the bounty person. He's looking for stuff and whistles pretty good. Trying to think of some other movies. One of the better acting ones, La La Land with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. Neat thing about that, which I was surprised, is the director, Damien Chazelle, also did 10 Cloverfield Lane as a director, which surprised me to go from a musical to something as an action sci-fi flick that is quite different as that. And so Damien Chazelle. Also out in the past year, Doctor Strange, we haven't talked about, definitely a Marvel movie, also Walt Disney, with Scott Erickson, who did 10 Years a Slave, The Martian. I was surprised as many different ones that he did. Let's see. Oh, no, that was Cumberbatch. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm totally looking different. He did The Exorcist of Emily Rose and Sinister, Hellraiser. Those are the ones he did where one of the characters in it, Chiwetel Ejiofor, did 10 Years a Slave in The Martian. He's one of the black guys, sorry, but that's how you recognize him. But I was surprised that somebody that did a Marvel show did a type of horror movies.
I know, it's interesting. Yeah.
The new Ghostbusters. The new Ghostbusters with Kristen Rick, Melissa McCarthy,
see that.
Kate McKinnon.
Did you like it?
Kate McKinnon delivers all the funny jokes. She's a Saturday Night Live person. But Paul Feig is the director of that, and he's done a bunch of Melissa McCarthy movies, Bridesmaids, Heat, but he also directed Geeks and Freaks.
Did you like Ghostbusters?
I was surprised. It kept my interest.
I didn't see it, but I heard a lot of bad things about it.
Really?
But, I heard a lot of people say bad things about it. I'm not saying it was bad, but I've just heard a lot of negative reviews. I'm glad you thought it was good.
It wasn't bad. And that matter of fact, IMDb gave it a 5.3, Metacritic 60%, Rotten Tomatoes 73, which is actually really low for Rotten Tomatoes there. But it wasn't bad. It's a typical Melissa McCarthy movie where you get some laughs and you get some dumb. X-Men Apocalypse, which was a Marvel movie that kind of flopped. Bryan Singer, who's done 6 of the X-Men movies, with Jennifer Lawrence, James McAvoy, and Michael Fassbender, who plays I can't even think of his name. The guy that can control the metal. Yes, he's in the Alien Covenant movie as well.
Cool.
With Catherine Watterson, and Danny McBride is in.
Yeah, I love Danny McBride.
I know you love Danny McBride. Danny
Vice
McBride
Principals.
Plays a captain, the pilot of the ship in Alien Covenant. Also out in the past year was Fate of the Furious, and I'm sorry, I am not a fan of the Fast and the Furious series. IMDb only gave it a 7, which is low. 50%.
Can't believe how many they made.
Metacritic.
Yuck.
I think 8, and then 66 on Rotten Potatoes. Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson again, Vin Diesel. And Jason Statham. I love Jason Statham. I have to say that he's
good.
For some reason, I mean, you go all the way back to Snatch with him.
Yeah, he's
Brad
good.
Pitt. But I was surprised that F. Gary Gray, what a name, Gary Gray, F. Gary Gray. But he also did the Italian Job in Straight Outta Compton. I mean, it's such a shift for him. But the Fast and the Furious. Another one that was out around my birthday time was Life with Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal and Rebecca Ferguson. And it was directed by Daniel Espinosa, who also did Safe House.
Oh, cool.
Denzel Washington. And Rebecca Ferguson, she's not really that well known, but she was actually in Mission Impossible, I think it was 4 with Rogue Nation, and Girl on a Train. It was new.
Cool.
Out pretty recently. One that was kind of unexpected that I really enjoyed, but Rotten Tomatoes didn't really care for it, was 52% and 7.4 on IMDb, was The Accountant. Distributed by Warner Brothers, with Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick and J.K. Simmons, who, Farm Bureau.
I haven't seen that yet.
Gavin O'Connor did the directing of that, and he did Miracle. I love Miracle. And he also did
awesome.
Warrior, the boxing movie. And so it's kind of a shift for him. But I was pleasantly pleased with The Accountant. Maybe it was because Ben Affleck didn't talk that much. So that's kind of a rundown of some of the ones that I watched in the last year, and Brody did a great job. That dude knows way more about movies than I do.
Yeah, he did an awesome job. I mean, I tell you what, he's watched a ton of more movies than I do. I always watch them about a year or so late, and I've watched a few. Rogue One I watched this year, but that was about it, and Moonlight, that's about it.
If you want to talk about some shows that are on regular cable TV, one that I was really surprised with that caught my interest, and I don't know if it's because my eyes were popping or something, but The Royals on E! Entertainment station with Elizabeth Hurley and William Moseley, but the one that just caught my I couldn't help was Alexandra Park, and she really hasn't done much of anything else, and it didn't get a great IMDb 7.4, and it's got 2 seasons out now, but The Royals on E, which is probably it's got to be one of their better hits, because, man, it did a good job talking about royalty in England. I mean, you can't go wrong sometimes watching Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah. Probably not going to do too bad with that.
But one you might have watched on cable TV, but it's kind of old, actually. It is John Adams. That actually came out in 2008 with Paul Giamatti.
Really good. I heard that was really good.
If you have any type of history knowledge and history interest, John Adams and Laura Lindley and Stephanie Delane, Stephen Delane, do a great job portraying our second president of the United States, John Adams, and then his son becomes the president later on. But they did a great job recreating some of that stuff. Some of the other things I might have saw on, it was actually on Amazon and up for Best Picture of the Year, was Manchester by the Sea with Casey Affleck. It was actually offered to somebody else, but he won an Oscar for Best Acting in that for a lead role. And so Casey Affleck, props to him. Kyle Chandler's in that as well.
Cool.
He plays Casey Affleck's brother in that movie.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's see. Also on Amazon, we got Catastrophe, if we want to go comedy, and it is a British comedy, but it's got Rob Delaney in it, and actually Sharon Hogan and Carrie Fisher before she passed away.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It's got 2 seasons in, and it's about a couple that meets up, and just kind of hilarity ensues at that point because obviously with the name Catastrophe. So he's American visiting Great Britain, and then she ends up pregnant, and they end up getting married, and then not having 1 but 2 kids, and so it's got a couple seasons in, and so it's good. But one I want to talk about definitely is Goliath with Billy Bob Thornton. If you don't have Amazon, and if you get a chance to find it somewhere pirated, I don't care.
I just got it. I need to check that because I always love Billy Bob. He's got
and
good
Maria
stuff.
Bello is in it, and Tanya Ramond, which is also in the show Lost from years ago, but she does a pretty good job at that show. Billy Bob Thornton plays a lawyer who's kind of down and out, but then finds a big role and kind of gets his name back in the papers and becomes big again. And he does a great job with it. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of House of Cards, where it's just take a huge turn left and change what the direction of what the show is going. And also on Amazon is another original by Amazon is Alpha House with John Goodman. And you like politics at all?
Yeah.
John Goodman plays a senator. It
Awesome.
is just hysterical. But Clark Johnson, who's also in SWAT.
Is it
from
just
years
a
ago.
comedy or?
Yeah, it's just a little
cool.
half-hour comedy.
I probably like that.
Yeah, so politics, comedy, Alpha House is the way to go. Amazon also has another original, Sneaky Pete, with Giovanni Ribisi, who plays a con man, and he does a great job with that. But it's also got Margot Martindale, who also plays in Justified and The Americans. She is finding her way into some good shows.
Is Justified still on, or is it done?
It
How
is
many
done.
seasons did it have?
I think it might have had 4, maybe 5 seasons, but
That's something I really wanted to watch and never saw it because I can't find it. I can't get it.
It is not on Netflix, or
I tried finding it.
sooner or later it'll probably be on Netflix because it is a FX, I think, usually has a contract with
Okay.
FX, and so some of the FX shows have ended up when their seasons are all done.
Because I'm just surprised they didn't have any season at all on Netflix of it in the beginning, like they would do with Better Call Saul or the other ones like Shameless and Californication. They'll at least put a few on there until they're done.
Terry TB, TB, who I'm talking about. He absolutely loved Justified. He loved it so much that when he called, that was my ringtone for him, was the Justified theme song.
Yeah. That's one show I really wanted to see, and I haven't seen it yet. Some, like Josh said, our beer guy.
Beer Winch.
Yeah, Beer Winch. Like Sons of Anarchy. I tried to watch a few episodes, and I never got into it, but
it
says it's really
violent.
good. I got to watch it.
There's a lot more strategy to it, and you definitely have to watch more of the season to be able to get into it.
Is it kind of like a biker gang mob or Sopranos type thing? Only biker gang?
That's a good way to look at it. I only watched probably 5 episodes of it, and I have not seen that much, but he absolutely loved it and couldn't stop watching it there. Well, I know you wanted to talk about Netflix originals.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I got 42 of them listed.
Oh, boy.
And so I'm just going to read them all, and you can stop me when you want something to talk about.
Okay.
13 Reasons Why, 3%, Black Mirror, Bloodline, Dave Chappelle's, Easy, Esto Como, Fauda Flake, Frontier, Glow, Gracie and Frankie, Love Sick, Marcella, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Mascots, Merlee, maybe Merli. I don't know. It was Italian, or no, actually it was it was Barcelona. Took place in Barcelona. And they spoke Catalan, but it was about a teacher. Nobel, which we need to talk about. Paranoid, Luther, Sandy Wexler, Adam Sandler movie, Santa Clarita Diet with Drew Barrymore and Timothy Oliphant from Justified plays it's that little half-hour comedy, but Timothy Oliphant in every movie and every show plays an absolute dick, and in this movie he plays an insurance salesman or a real estate agent, and he's all happy and giddy all the time.
What's the title of it again?
Santa Clarita Diet.
I know. I saw that.
Hysterical.
Are they like cannibals?